Hi, my name is Rachel, and I am currently in Miri. Yes, some of you might be thinking, how did I end up in Miri? So here's my story. During the second week of the MCO, on 25th March, my grandmother had passed away. I was downhearted. My family already started to arrange the funerals and all. I went through so many emotions while reading WhatsApp messages from my extended family. My sister Gwen and I, we were quite hesitant to go back to Miri because of what is ongoing right now. After so many thoughts, we decided that it's best if we went back to Miri. So we went back to Miri the day my grandmother was buried. At that time, Malaysia Airlines only had one flight per day, which was at 11:30 a.m. My grandmother was buried at 10 a.m. My sister and I landed in Miri at about 3 p.m., so we missed the funeral. At that time, I was sad, but it wasn't shock or surprising. It wasn't the kind of sadness or sorrow that overwhelms me. I just felt that my grandma passed away peacefully. I try not to feed the sadness, and it's amazing how God works through difficult times. I discovered joy, peace, contentment while caught in tough times. I knew I had to trust God in every little things. During that period of time, I regularly quiet my heart, allowing God to take place in my heart, and I keep reminding myself all the good things that's happening in my little world. Then slowly, I can feel His presence. I faithfully fix my thoughts on things that are true, honorable, right, excellent, and worthy to be praised. I found that when I take these words seriously, when I choose to savor these words, only then it's much easier for me to discover joy in tough times. If you ask me what do I learn about God and myself during this MCO, I kept inside my heart the verse that Pastor Dan reminded us many weeks ago on the first week of MCO. In Philippians 4 verse 6 to 7, don't worry about anything, instead pray about everything. Tell God what you need and thank God for all He has done. Then, you will experience God's peace, which exceeds anything we can understand. His peace will guard your hearts and minds as you live in Christ Jesus. I believe that my grandma is with Jesus now, and I'm glad that I have this unshakable peace from God dwell in my heart, especially in this season. Church, let's continue to fix our eyes on Jesus. God bless. Can't wait to see all of you.